Karen Burniston. I am the designer of Pop-It-Ups dies for Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I am here with a sneak peek video to show you some of my new accessory dies coming in July 2014. They are the character die sets. Let's start by looking at Hoppy the Owl. So with all of my dies, when you first purchase them, they are still all connected together. So you'll need to use your Elizabeth Craft Designs die snips and your die file set to both snip them into their individual pieces. And then if you have anything sharp, go ahead and file it down with a file set. There are 7 pieces in Hoppy. Okay, all of the characters work the same way. You've got a big shadow layer that goes underneath the stack, and that's what creates all of the detail lines for the drawing. So if you'd like them crisp, just go with black for your shadow. But if you want something a little more subtle, you can go tone on tone. I am a fan of using a liquid glue for adding the detail layer over the shadow layer. That way that you can avoid all the little cutouts and everything. And then when you stick it on the shadow layer, just make sure that you're centering it and leaving an equal amount of the shadow layer showing all the way around the piece. All of the characters come with an eyeball set die. So what that does is it cuts 2 eyeballs at the same time, so you don't have to run it back through the die again. And you can kind of adjust where the little cutout is to depend where you would like your character to be looking. So I've chosen here to kind of be looking straight ahead, but I could have rotated those eyeballs and had different expressions. There is also a tiny little beak die, so you want to make sure you don't lose the die itself. It is quite tiny, so keep it in a good spot. But then when you put your little beak in there, it's still going to leave that little shadow. So that's kind of the way the characters are built, is that they always, with the pieces, leave that little shadow shining through from underneath to create your detail lines. Now similarly, there are both a shadow layer for the feet and a feet, and you can choose to use just one or the other, but if you layer them together, then you're going to kind of complete that look of having that detail line all the way around, and you can obviously adjust where the feet go. And then one last thing is there is a little tiny heart that comes with Hoppy. It's just kind of an optional thing. It could be used lots of different ways, but I think it's also cute just to have Hoppy have a little heart. The characters are a nice finished size. They're just a little over 2 inches in height, so they're going to fill up the space if you want to use them on the fronts of cards or scrapbook layouts. They're also going to work fantastic, of course, on all of the Pop-It-Ups dies, as you see in this cute card by Fran. And here's one of Kaz's cards using one of the brand new accordions. They work great on that. And then also with the pivot card. So here's another card by Kaz using the house pivot card with Hoppy. Okay, moving on to the next character, let's take a look at 909 Hoppy the Frog. Hoppy also comes with a background shadow layer that creates the lines and then a foreground detail layer. You do have an emboss feature with Hoppy, so if you run that back through with an emboss sandwich or you use it as a stencil or both, you'll get some little highlighted kind of nostrils and some little freckles on his legs. So that's always an option if you want that added detail. Another option you have is to change his little mouth color, and if you want to do that with an inlay, you just run a piece of a mouth-colored cardstock or paper back through the die again, just making sure you hit the mouth area. Then sink some glue down in the little well, and then stick that little inlaid mouth in there. Now, if that seems like a lot of work, or you're not good with little small pieces, that's fine. Just before you put your detail layer over your shadow layer, just add a scrap of paper behind it, and that way it can be just kind of big and sloppy and just somewhere over it. Then when you layer it over the top, you'll only see it shining through the mouth area. And you can see those really look identical, so it's really up to you as to whether you do an inlay or a background. The other dies that come in the Hoppy die set are a pair of eyeballs, so those work just like with the Hoppy set. They're a little bit smaller to leave you a shadow, and they have a little cutout that you can rotate around to decide what kind of expression you'd like on Hoppy. And then Hoppy also comes with a lily and a little fly, so you can make all sorts of fun frog-like scenes using those accessory dies. You have probably heard me say before that the beauty of die cutting is that you get to choose your colors and your patterns and your textures. And in the case of the characters, you also get to choose the expressions, the poses, what accessory pieces that you put with them, what holidays are you going to use them for. They really are very generic despite being so specific, if that makes sense. I thought this was real cute, Karen Aiken putting the little butterfly right on Hoppy's nose. All of the characters can be glittered. Just use microfine glitter on double-sided adhesive over the detail layer and you'll still get that crisp line from underneath. And Hoppy makes fantastic, realistic toads and frogs as well. And then the last character is Chili the Penguin. Now in this case, the detail layer would normally be cut out of white, or at least something different than black, because in this case, the detail layer is going to be cut out of black if you're trying to look for a realistic looking penguin. The detail layer is actually going to come out in 3 pieces, and you don't use the middle piece. You actually use the outside piece, which creates his wings and all of his outline, and then you use the piece that creates the detail for his eyes and beak, and you just glue those onto your shadow layer. Then, once again, you're going to get a die that cuts both eyes at the same time. And once again, you can rotate him to any kind of position to change Chili's expression. You have one die to cut both his little feet and his beak. Those are usually probably out of the same color anyway, so that'll make that die a little bit harder to lose because it's a little bit bigger die, plus then you're cutting all the same color at the same time. So I usually use orange, but you can, of course, get creative because it's a die cut, so you always get to choose. So I'm just going to layer on his little feet, his little beak, and there you see finished little Chili. One last little accessory piece. It is optional. It does come with the die set, and that is a scarf. Speaking of alternate color schemes, this first sample by Frances, she swapped the white and the black pieces for her second Chili, and I love her little glittered hats from the props die. Now Donna cracked me up with this card, a Lucy label card. Never give up your dreams, and there's Chili determined to fly. Love this card by Summer Hills Painter using the new Katie label accordion die with Chili. And then here is a great ring album, one of the other new accordions by Karen Burniston using Chili. The last die set I'll show you in this sneak peek video is number 911, props number 1. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's got 5 different props and they will fit on any of the characters. So another nice thing about the characters all being basically the same height is you can use them all together. So here is a ring accordion using all 3 of the characters and the props. This is the new ring accordion album. It will be available as part of this release and it should be in stores at the same time as the characters. Kelly Booth made me a few examples, this one using the new Katie label accordion, so that's another new accordion album that'll be available. And in her case, she used a lot of sparkle between glittering, shimmer sheets. All of the Elizabeth Craft Designs products work so well with characters. Here's a glittered little Hoppy for a cute little ring album, Merry Christmas. The characters are going to look great out of pattern paper, and don't feel like you're limited to just green for the frog. Look at this Helen Cryer sample using the Katie label accordion, and then another one with a cute pink poppy on the ring accordion album. The characters are also going to fit perfectly on the Katie label pivot card die, like this cute card by Karen Burniston using Poppy. The new Katie label accordion die is actually a vertical version of this same shape. And what you can do is mix and match your decorator dies between the 2 die sets. They do not duplicate, but they coordinate perfectly. And you'll see that here in my card, the Happy Birthday card. I've used the stitch die from the Katie label accordion on the Katie label pivot card with Hoppy styled as a tree frog. You can sit the characters on the garden bench die like Helen Cryer did there. You can use the Lucy label or the Lots of Pops for animation if you'd like to make pop-up cards using the characters like I did for this little Poppy card. That's the Lots of Pops die there behind it. And then for this last one, I used the Lots of Pops again, this time with Hoppy. And to make him look like he's jumping, I just chopped his legs off the side and just kind of rotated them down so they'd be in a new position, and then he'll look like he's jumping. Both of the new accordion albums can also mix in with existing accordion albums, like Raquel did here by mixing the Katie with the oval and then floating Poppy in the middle on a thread. You can also see the oval clouds edgers. Those are new frame edges for the oval accordion that are available in this release. And then here's another mixed album. I made this one using the new ring album for pages 1 and 3, and then the existing circle accordion for page 2. And you can see the styling on Poppy and Hoppy is very realistic in this case. I've really been having fun playing with the characters. In this case, Chili was cut out of shrink plastic for page 1 and 3, and then he shrinks a little wonky, but still real cute. And on this one, I made a 4-page ring accordion where they each got to wear masks of one of the other characters. Look for the character dies, the new accordion, some new frame edgers, and some other fun new dies in stores July 15th, 2014. If you have enjoyed this video, I hope you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook. You can also check out my blog for more Pop It Ups ideas, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching.